on, everybody? We are live from Autoclub Speedway tonight at the PSES Xfinity Series. I'm joined in the booth by none other than Byron Jones. Byron, you out there?
Yes, sir. I got a copy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Looks like we're going to be running Autoclub tonight in the dark with the lights on, obviously. But this should be a interesting race. I like Autoclub at the night race that they have it at. I During the day it's real slick and you can slide all over the place. At night it feels like it has a lot more grip. So I think it definitely is going to be interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. An interesting night for sure. We've seen in the past, broadcasts we've had, these races have gone caution free. I could expect to see another one of those tonight. Of course, top guys like Nicholas Gowan, Tristan Bailey, Matthew O'Brien finding themselves within the top three fastest times. Then you got Gary Bingaman and Robert Reynolds, which is your top five. Guys are looking fast, running 41.2s around the track. I'm ready for this night. I'm ready to see how it's going to go because these guys, they're going to play smart. 100, I'm sorry, not 100, only 65 laps. Very interesting, but it is going to be really, really fun time.
Yeah, there's actually a couple people in this field tonight that I consider a dark horse. There's a guy out here that we all very well know him from the console side. Luis Zader has joined tonight in the 42 car for Xfinity. That's kind of a kind of bringing in a ringer from the console side, and he's been very good on the iRacing side. As soon as he hit the iRacing side, he just started going to the front and has run very well. So I'm interested to see what he does tonight against these top dogs that we've seen repeatedly the last several weeks of Xfinity Series with Nicholas Godwin, Tristan Bailey, Matthew O'Brien, PJ O'Leary, Matthew Chaff, Jose Ruiz, Jamie Haynes, all these guys. Jordan Baines in the field tonight. That's another dark horse that is a ringer to me. That's a those two being in the field against these top five, top six guys we've seen every week is gonna be a huge race to watch. So if you're out there, go ahead and share it, follow, send it to anybody you can because this is going to be a dogfight, I feel like, with Luis Zader and Jordan Bain in this field. I don't know if the top three guys are going to be able to handle those two. Those two are fast. Jordan Bain's been all over the place in different iRacing leagues, all over the console side. Ran the pro league side of console. So those two are going to be my top choices to try to get these guys off of this big run they've had of finishing in the top three, top five every single week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You named it, Jordan. Shoot, he came over, did turn down for one once they changed over the iRacing, won that championship, showing to be very dominant this season over there, too, alongside multiple other leagues I've caught him in. He's good at every track. I expect to be Auto Club to be a very, very strong track, even though, then again, it is a bit of a draft track. And like you said, Luis, he's over from the console side, came over here not that long ago, and he's picked it up. He's knowing what he's doing, and he's been dominating in what he's doing. Like you said, I think he could be one of those top contenders when it comes down to who's going to be the overall winner of the race. It's just it bobbles my mind every now and again thinking about the new names popping up and just how much of a contention and how much more competitive this league is getting as the season goes on.
Even look at the season standings for the points. Godwin and Bailey have been climbing the point standings. Ruiz is up there in front right now with a couple drivers who haven't been here for several weeks. So now you have Bailey and Godwin creeping up in the points. And if Bain and Ruiz come in here and they start picking off wins from Bailey and Godwin, who were collecting all those wins, does Bailey and Godwin catch Ruiz by the end of the season? That's the question. I don't know. These two, to me, throws a whole new ball game out here with these two in the field.
Yeah, and at the same point, though, still a learning curve. Obviously, Heat, a lot different than iRacing, but he's known to pick up things fast. I expect him to know what he's doing, come in hard charging. The only thing that may play a little bit factor could be sort of damage, understanding how much the damage affects your car if it does, and how you can sort of keep the arrow, know when to use your fast repairs, when to come down pit. And plus, this is a manual pit road, not one of those automatic ones that you pop down, they drag you. But right now, Matthew O'Brien sitting on pole with a 41.3.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do that red, white, and blue national anthem to give support out there and to let the men and women out there know that they're, not alone and that we are 100% behind them. So let's go ahead and get that national anthem, and we'll be right back to show you what's going on in qualifying and to give you a little bit more perspective on what we're seeing. All right, we are back. Noticing that we got about 5.5 minutes left in qualifying. I haven't seen Jordan or Bailey or Godwin come out on track yet. I assume they'll probably wait till about the 3.5 minute mark to then come out and try to run their hot laps with the temperatures decreasing. Right now, the temperatures on track are 65 degrees and 65 for air temp. They do have a small 7-mile-an-hour wind coming out of the southwest. Shouldn't be that big of a deal for them. But those temperatures being that low should definitely help with some grip tonight, Byron.
Yeah, but in the same boat, grip could equal tire burn off very, very quickly. If those tires do burn off, they're going to find themselves running the wall very, very fast. And I think the way these guys have been handling these last few weeks, the way they've been racing, I mean, I expect this to go green. They have absolutely, I don't believe, I'm going to double check that when I get a chance, but I don't believe they have, no fast repairs. So these guys got to play it smart. And man, at the end of the day, they just got to know what they're doing. And obviously they do. I expect it to be good. 6 tires allowed. I'm sorry. 6 tire sets allowed for the race. Yeah. I
That's
think
a
you're
lot
going to
of set of
expect to
tires
see
with 65 or 70. Was it 75 laps?
65.
65 laps with 6 sets of tires. There's going to be some guys for sure going home with sets of tires.
Oh, yeah.
If
I
you go
think these
through all
guys are.
6, you got problems.
Yeah, I think.
that's a lot of
I would
tires.
say only
That's
one
only 10 to
set.
15 laps on one set if that's the case.
Well, maybe we do see that. Maybe they got to make a mandatory 20-lap pit stop. But with their fuel capacity being only at 75, oh man, they could probably cut this in half. I think 35.
That's what I'm thinking.
40.
One stop, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. If they play
I
this
mean, the
right,
fall
they
off
only
at
got
Auto
one
Club's
stop.
always been pretty bad, but I don't think it's going to be this bad to where you're going to see it every 15 laps. I do notice that we still have 288s on track. Not sure why that has not been fixed. Somebody's going to have to get a hold of Tristan Bailey and get him to put a 24 on the side of that car so we don't have any more confusion. But I do see that one of them is in red and black and one of them is in red and blue, so that might give us a little bit of hint or help for tonight. But still 288s on track, but we'll get that figured out at some point here. I'm seeing Bailey or Baines not in his typical 28 car that we've noticed him being in a lot of different leagues. I haven't even seen him come out on track yet for qualifying, and it's 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, unfortunately, 28 of George Rincon took over the 28, so Jordan had to go find himself a different car I'm
He's in the
excited to sort of see
25.
how it's going to look. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. 25, new number, new wins? Question mark. Could it be some more wins for Jordan as he sets himself for this series?
So the 42 of Zader just came out on track for his qualifying lap. That's crazy to see Rose out here with Bain and Bailey and Godwin all on the same track. This is going to be a crazy night with those top four. It's going to be really hard for some of these guys to really get up here and fight with these guys. I mean, they've had problems with Godwin, Bailey, Chafe, Jose Ruiz, Pressy, Haynes. Those guys have been predominantly your top 8 guys. Now you throw 2 more heavy hitters in there. I think it's going to be a crapshoot tonight, and especially with Bain. Bain, I know, CGM Rose. He's jumped over here. He's been fast. I haven't seen him in a whole lot of leagues recently. Bain's been all over the place. If there's a league out there, Bain's probably running in it. I mean, he's running SRN. He's finishing in the top 5 in that one. I believe he was the regular season points leader in another one. So for him to jump down here to Xfinity and PSES, I think this is going to be a big shout out to the rest of the field that there's some heavy hitters out there that if they come in here, it's going to be a tough rest of the season.
Yeah, most definitely. He has come to play the game, and he's going to show and show out with all these leagues, all these races that he is doing is allowing him to gain more experience, allowing him to become faster, allowing him to become the top dog. And I don't know. I think we may see him sort of make his way through the field with only 30 seconds left in qualifying. I don't believe, actually, he does have a lap time
he
down
went 14,
right now.
so he's out on track.
Yeah, 41.8. So
I think that's a warm-up
gonna sack
lap.
him. Is it?
I don't see him out on track, but I don't know how he would have set a 40. That's seems like an out lap to me, or like the first lap, your warm-up lap before you run really hard. That's what that seems like, but maybe he ran out of time. I don't know, or maybe he spun coming off the corner in qualifying. I don't know. I didn't see him out on track, so I don't know where that time came from. But anyways, he's starting in the back of the field at 14th, so he's gonna have to work his way through. Matthew O'Brien gets the pole tonight over Luis Zader, the one I was just saying, or otherwise known as CGM Rose from the console side. Tristan Bailey coming in 3rd. Bingaman coming in 4th. PJ O'Leary coming in top 5. Pressy 6th. Dakota Kramer 7th. Jose Ruiz, your points leader, in 8th. Matthew Chafe 9th. Maurice Burnett 10th. Douglas King 11th. Robert Reynolds 12th. Adam Rowe is 13th. Jordan Bain 14th. Jamie Haynes, your winner a couple weeks ago, 15th. Jorge Rincon 16th. Charles Mosley 17th. Joshua Hale 18th. Nicholas Godwin, the other winner from a couple weeks ago, is 19th. Sammy Harrell 20th. Christopher Foskey 21st. Robert Bousquet 22nd. And Debbie Hutchins coming in 23rd.
Excellent lineup for tonight. A lot of those guys you're naming off. I mean, guys like Tristan.
Yeah, that's a heavy group.
yeah. This is a heavy group all around. I expect to see some really, really close pack racing, especially at a track like this, draft track. It's going to be fun. Guys are going to be tight racing. We could see 2 or 3 wide possibly for multiple laps after the green flag.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see what happens here. Like I said, there's a lot of heavy hitters in this field. I mean, you can go down the line, and each driver is a heavy hitter in another league or multiple leagues or coming from the console side. It's going to be tough shooting or tough skiing for all these, or tough sledding, sorry, for all these guys out here that have been the dominant ones. Like I said, you're adding in 2 very heavy hitter drivers in Bain and Zader to an already heavy field. I don't think it's going to be as easy as Bailey and Godwin and O'Leary, Pressy, Ruiz, Chafe. All these guys have been, riding around in the top 8 for several weeks. And I think they're going to have to fight for those positions this week with Bain and Zader being in this field. The only one we're missing is Andrew from 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, that would really.
If you threw him in here, it would be crazy. I'd be a complete toss-up. I don't know who's going to win. It would be completely a wild card to pick somebody to win out of this field. Normally, we could say it's Bailey, it's Godwin, it's Chafe, it's Haynes, it's Rowe, it's Bingaman. You know, any one of those guys has a shot. Now it's really even more of a toss-up with these other two thrown in here.
Yeah, and I think another piece that's going to sort of play a factor, the short pit. Who's going to be the first one to attempt the short pit if you need any, and sort of be that guy that's able to be on top once this one's all said and done. But they are getting ready to come to the restart zone, getting ready to go green. Green flag is waving. 71, 42 side by side. 71 has a huge push from the 24, not the 88.
Yeah, the 24 of Tristan Bailey was all over the back bumper of 71 as the green flag dropped, and he's going to try to go low into turn one. I don't know if he's going to be able to carry the speed because that bottom is oh, Bailey's loose. He's losing the rear end. He's trying to save it. He does recover it. The 9 gets loose coming off the corner, almost collects right into the 24. They're going to foul back in down the backstretch, but Luis Zader and the 71 of O'Brien are trying to stretch out their lead already.
Yeah, already trying to create some sort of gap over that 94 of Nicholas Pressey. And I believe that is the 72 of Gary Bingaman trying to stretch it out, trying to get further and further. 42 going to use that draft of the 71. There you go, 2-car breakaway. They should start taking off in the sunset. Well, darkness very, very soon.
Yeah, I think it's going to start heating up between these guys. Like I said, Zader, O'Brien, Bingaman, all these guys are fast. And then you have, Jordan started 14th. He's already up to 7th. He's already flying through the field. So that's half of the field through 2 laps that he's already gone through. Bailey, obviously got loose coming out of turn 2, slid back. He's currently, right outside the top 10. Also the 9, he slid out of coming out of turn 2 of PJ O'Leary. He's outside the top 10, sitting in 13th. So you're going to look for those guys to try to come back through the field and really come up. Bailey slipped all the way to 15th.
Yeah, and as you were talking about the 25 of Jordan Bain, he is making his way. Position 9. In front of him is the 28 of Jorge Rincon and the 88 of Nicholas Gowan. These two are battling side by side. Tires are essential at a track like this. I think they're using it up way too early. As I say that, Mr. Bain going to go side by side with the 00 of Matthew Chafe. 3 wide.
Look at Bailey going low. Bailey's going to go low and come right up in front of Bain. The 9 of O'Leary is also trying to find or follow Bailey up through there. He's side by side with Chafe, 3 wide with the 5 as well.
Yeah, and that's sort of the best part at a track like Autoclub is running that bottom lane. It sticks so well as long as you don't get a hold of the apron. You get a hold of the apron, expect your car to go around. But that 24, Tristan Bailey, already making a quick recovery from 15th to 9th. He is now in search of that 28 and that 88 as they are in search of that 10 and 23.
Yeah, it's weird seeing somebody go through different lanes. Bailey made that almost 4 wide going through there. And I didn't even see him. I didn't even think he was going to be able to make it. But once he slid to the bottom with the rest of the drivers in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th groove, he just carried so much momentum into the corner and then was able to get the pedal to the floor and just roll through there. I'm kind of surprised he was able to hold it, but he did hurt his tires a little bit earlier sliding, so he may have gotten the tires to where they're not cold anymore and they'll stick. But that could hurt him in the long run since he did burn off a little bit of that tire sliding out of turn 2. Same with O'Leary.
Yeah, I think if they sort of run mid to high lane, they may be okay. That's sort of where he's searching. As I say that, he's going to find that bottom. Using that white apron, weirdly, it sort of brings your car with you. It doesn't slide you up, nor does it drag you under it. As long as you hit that apron just right, you can pull around, carry some crazy speed. As you see 24 now back on the bumpers of the 23, 28, and 88, as they have also caught the 10, 94, 72, 42, and 71. Front pack now getting ready to stretch out to about 9 race cars. Tristan making his way back through.
Yeah, Bailey was able to get past that group of 5 cars and quickly just set sail and caught right to the back bumper of this lead pack. And it's kind of pulled him real close to the back bumper of the 88 of Gowan. And now they're just kind of trying to work their way through this. Zader's on the outside of the 71 with the help from the 72 of Bingaman.
Yeah, they're now, here we go. The 2-3 wide racing we were expecting to see happening is happening very, very early. 42 of Luis is looking to take his early lead, looking to feel a taste of picking up a lap lead. As he is battling, he does have the position on that outside lane, but how long will it work? Huge push from the 71 of Matt O'Brien. Sorry,
Yeah.
not Matt, Gary.
And behind the 72, he got a big push from the 10 of Robert Reynolds. It really shot the 72 right to the back bumper of the 42. I really like the second and third groove at this track. I know everybody says bottom groove, angle it down from the top to the bottom, kind of like we did on the heat side on console. But for myself, when I'm driving this track, I really don't like going down to that white line. I like putting my tires right where Luis is putting them, right on that first little line of where I would consider to be able to say a lane. So you have 1 lane, 2 lane, 3 lane, 4 lane, all the way to the wall, and then you have fifth lane right there at the wall. So that first black line from the bottom, that's where I like to put my tires. That's where Luis is putting them. And I think you save more tire doing that because you're not riding the bottom, you're not scrubbing the tires, trying to hold the bottom, and you carry more momentum being on that second groove. Now, granted, the 72 and the 94 are behind the 42, and it's not really helping him to get past the 71. As you see, the 71's kind of by himself right now. The 10 and everybody else kind of fell off of him, but the 42's still hanging tough.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. That part of the track seems like it's the best part. For some reason, I don't know how it feels to you, but it feels like there's a lot more grip. It's sort of, you can lock your tires, and I think that's what the 42 is doing right now. He's locking his tires in that groove, and he's not sliding up, nor is he sliding down. But in the same boat, hitting that apron too does help ring your car around just a little. A huge pack right now. Guys are refusing to break off from it. As I would say, we probably got about a 15 car pack going on. Nobody has been able to break away from the leaders, but the 42 of Luis Zader is attempting to do that right now.
Yeah, we know, Bailey's he's more of a just go for it kind of guy. He doesn't worry about his tires very often. He's been riding that bottom right at the white line. He goes almost right to it and then puts his tires right on the white line to try to help his car turn. The same as you see the 71 doing. The 42 and now the 72 has gotten past the 42 by using that outside line. They're carrying the momentum, but they're also not scrubbing their tires. So you can see the big pushes as they come to. Like the 72 fell back off of the 42 a little bit when he cleared the 71, and that allowed the 94 to get to the back of the 72, which gave him a huge push to go right alongside the 42 and then past the 42, but then you see the 94 fall off. So it's like a give and take. The car behind you gives you that giant push, but then they have nothing pushing them, so they fall off of you while you're just carrying the momentum from that push.
Yeah, and that's sort of the key you got to take at a track like this. So you think about this, it's almost like, man, I would say it's close to Talladega, close to Daytona, but just shrinking it up just a little bit. These guys go close to full, I believe, all the way around, which is really impressive for a track like this. Speaking of the fact that it's unfortunately going to be changed to a short track, I believe, not next season, but the following one. As you see, 88-42 going to go side by side. I think that 42 has sort of burned up his tires very, very early. Now he's starting to feel the effects of it later in this race as we are only 12 laps in.
Yeah, I don't think the 42's burned up his tires. I think he's not running that bottom. So you can see Bailey dives it down to the bottom, and he's getting the pull on the 42, but the 42 tries to get down there on him. But I really think the 42's trying to conserve tire, and Bailey's more of the hard treader. Let's go to the front. I'm going to lead all the laps. And that hasn't worked out well for him in the sense of a long run. In short runs, when he starts up front, he usually just pulls away and he's gone. And then Gowan and the rest of them start pulling him back in towards the end of the run when the green flag stops happen. So I'm not surprised to see Bailey start up front. He got loose, went to the back, fell all the way to 15th, and now is all the way back up here into 4th. The problem I have is I don't know if it's a long-standing deal, especially Autoclub. It shreds tires, so it's gonna be tough to see, or it's gonna be nice to see if Bailey is able to conserve tire, or if the tires just really are not gonna matter with the temperatures that they're at. I mean, we're at 66 degrees for track temperature.
Yeah, and I'm starting to look here, and more I think of it the way that these guys are shredding their tires. You see a 7.2 of Gary now looking to search for that top lane. You can see through the corners, through 3 and 4, you can see it a lot clearer. You can see these guys, they're bouncing up and down, and it's sort of creating a rub on the tire where it's taken off the grip. The tire is starting to become just a little more worn down. Guys aren't going to drive as fast. Their fall off, I would say about a second or two. They're already down the half a second of a fall off. Guys are starting to fall quick, but I don't think it's enough to sort of affect the tires. But that 42 searching in that top lane alongside that 71, they're going to try a new groove through 1 and 2.
Yeah, the 72 just tried a really high line, almost up against the wall through 3 and 4. And then as they came through the front stretch, the 42 took the low line through 3 and 4. So he got past them by taking the shorter route around the track. He slid up in front of the 72, but when he slid up, the 72 did the crossover and went right back past the 42 and got to the back bumper of the 71, carrying the momentum. But then as they went into the corner, the 42 was up high and the 72 was trapped on the bottom. And then you see the 42 come back around the 72, and now the 72 is falling off from the momentum from the speed he lost by being down at the bottom. So I think these guys are starting to figure out that maybe 1 and 2 you go high or low, reverse it. 1 and 2 go low, 3 and 4 go high, or 1 and 2 go high, 3 and 4 go low, so that you're not losing too much time staying on the top on both sides of the track.
Yeah, and as you were saying that, he was actually hanging just a bit higher in that corner. He was sort of letting off, running that mid the lane. Then he saw everybody pull down. Weirdly, I mean, I don't know if you felt the effects of these things, but when you get in a draft, for some reason, it seems like the car becomes a lot looser and it sort of follows the guy right in front of you. Unlike other ones where the car gets tight, moves up, gets out of the way or whatever. As you see now, 88 and 24 getting ready to find themselves battling side by side. Mr. Where did he come from? The 88 of Nicholas Gowan now making his way up to position number 4, looking for position number 3, 2, and 1 if he can get to him.
Yeah, so I've had this conversation with a few different drivers of the Xfinity series and a few different leagues. There's different opinions all over the place. A lot of guys find that the Xfinity cars are loose, and then some guys find that they're tight. I'm in the boat where I feel like they're tighter than the trucks. Trucks to me feel way loose. And then you get guys that say, oh, trucks are tighter, they're easier to drive, Xfinity are loose. I think it's all on how you drive. It's your driving style, and that's the difference between iRacing and console. Is console, the cars feel pretty much identical, no matter what you're doing. As long as, well, I mean, once you start changing and adjusting tires and things like that, obviously it changes. But from the start of the race, if you're completely on one set without making any changes, the cars all feel the same. Everybody's feeling the same effects. It's, loose in the corners, loose coming off the corners, that type of stuff. But on here, it's when you let off and when you drive, when you try to turn down in that corner. And then if you put your tires on the white line or if you stick it to the groove with that black line. So it kind of just all depends on how you feel about the car. To me, the cars feel tighter than trucks or Cup. But then everybody else says they're loose. So I really just think it's your driving style and how you go into these cars and how you take to the different tracks.
Yeah, these things are a love-hate relationship. If you love them,
Oh, I
you're
love
gonna
them.
drive them. Yeah, most definitely. They're fun for sure, and it's one of those pieces that it's a love-hate relationship. We were seeing it. Obviously, not gonna say anything, but guys were asked sort of how they feel about these cars. They said, "Oh man, I don't like it. It's too tight. It's not turning enough." And then you got guys saying, "No, it's fun. It's loose. You got to learn how to drive the car. It gets a little bit better." And as some would say, in quotes, it takes a little bit more skill to drive these cars. I think it's like you said, the way it feels to you, not how it feels to the others. And that's sort of what it takes, and that could be the difference between guys that dominate certain races in the Xfinity series. Then you see guys dominate up in the Cup or Truck level.
Yeah, I mean, myself, I don't dominate in any series, but I feel more comfortable in the Xfinity cars. Trucks, to me, the rear end just feels way loose. Every turn I go into, it feels like the rear end is passing me before I go, midway through the corner. Xfinity, I feel like the car's heavy and it's tight. Cup, I mean, it's an in between to me for trucks and Xfinity. They feel great. I like driving the Cup cars, but I feel like I have the most fun driving Xfinity cars because I feel like it's more of a challenge but then it's not at the same time. Like I feel like they're easier to drive, but I got to do more driving to drive them, if that really makes sense. I mean, drivers out there will kind of understand what I'm saying, but that's my point on it.
Yeah, and that one, yeah, I totally agree 100%. It's all about how you feel. And at the end of the day, I mean, hey, I think almost everybody enjoys it. Then again, a lot better than the console games that we have received in the past, plus potentially in the future, depending on how well they'll do with the NASCAR ignition. We'll have to see how well they do on that one. But I think a lot of guys gonna stick to iRacing. There are a lot of us have poured a good amount of money into it, but it's cool. You sort of feel what the real life drivers take as, because they use this as a simulation. This is a simulation, not a game. You see a current pass between the 24, 42, and the 10, all battling within each other. 88 and Nicholas Gowan able to get out and away from them. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to have fun, enjoy it, learn the car. And I would say that that's the most fun you find getting out of it, is sort of learning it and figuring out what the pros feel.
Yeah. O'Brien has kind of stretched out a little bit of a lead here now over Gowan. He's up to 7/10 faster than everybody else. Gowan's kind of just trailing him. Bailey's kind of trailing Gowan now that he's gotten past the 42. The 10 is just kind of locked into the back bumper of the 24 and has kind of just followed him wherever he's gone. He's just following him. It's not a bad person to follow through the field for sure. Jordan Bain has back. He's back in ninth still. But I feel like he's just waiting. It's a long race. It is 65 laps, but we know there's going to be one stop coming. And Jordan's been the one that I've seen him do so many different things in different leagues where he pulls off so many different strategies where you're like, I can't believe he just stayed out that long, or I can't believe he just short pitted everybody. So he's kind of the wild card on knowing where he's going to go or what he's going to do during a race. So, I mean, we know they can run 35, 45 laps on a set of tires. I mean, for fuel, it's a 65 lap race. So is somebody going to come down at lap 35 and hope that they can run, the rest of the race? Or is somebody going to wait till lap 45 and then, be on fumes and then come down and have a 20 lap sprint? Or, there can be so many different strategies here, and everybody's so still bobbled up. Nobody's really separated. If you look at the pack down there at the tracks map, everybody's still right there next to each other. Nobody's really, separated besides the back 6 guys who have fallen off pace, and the 2 of them are a lap down. But the rest of the field, the top, 17, are all within 5 seconds of each other, and that's not very much on Autoclub.
Yeah, 5 seconds means absolutely nothing. And when you think about this 28, 94, 923, I almost say this is a position that you want to find yourselves. You're not in the back, but you're also not in the front. So that means when it comes to pitting, when guys finally decide to come down, you can think about it for a second, then make your decision versus, oh shoot, he's going, I gotta go with him. This gives you some more time, plus allows you to screw up and pace a guy in the front like Luis, Robert, even Tristan. If they realize that that leader goes in and they don't catch it fast enough, they could find themselves speeding down pit road, potentially staying out more laps than they need to. And I think at this point, when you're thinking of a track like this, the fact that it's still been green, it's a mind game. You got to know what everybody's doing and getting on and off pit road. There's been more cautions of guys getting on and off pit road than there actually has been between the racing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see who comes when. It's going to throw a lot of people, like you said, he went. Should I go? Or he hasn't pitted yet. Should I pit ahead of him? Should I wait? It's going to be a lot of, last second decisions, and that can cause a lot of problems entering these pit roads. It ain't the easiest one to get down on, and even getting off of it's not that easy either. It's a single lane going around 1 and 2. So you got to stay on the apron. You can't go up on the track. If you do, you get the black flag. So it's going to be real interesting to see who goes first, and then what happens in everybody else's minds of, should I go now? Should I wait? Should I wait till I'm almost empty? I really want to know what everybody's strategy is.
Yeah, and I think another key to it, it could be pitting in packs. The more I'm thinking about it, these guys are relying on each other to keep up with speed. Like one of the guys for sure is this 10:42:88. They're all sitting in sort of a pack. As I said, at 42 starting to fall off just a bit. 10 trying to go side by side with the 24. It's all about who you could pit with if you're on the same boat. If they all can get in and out, we could be looking at the potentially fourth on back being the front runners once pit stops cycle through. It's all about strategy at this point. You got to figure out if you're going to pit together, if you're going to pit solo, if you do pit solo, are more guys going to come together. And a lot of stuff goes through a racer's head
Well,
when you go through
the other
something.
thing too is, Byron, the fall off. We're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at best times of 41 sixes by Bailey. The last lap he just ran was a 43.3. You're talking 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds almost for fall off from the tires. So if Bailey and Godwin, who are teammates, who are second and third right now, notice that O'Brien is in the middle of the track through 3 and 4 and doesn't look like he's going to come down pit road, they can communicate to each other and say, hey, let's go now before he does, and come down as a pair, which may pull other drivers behind them, and then O'Brien's stuck by himself. So that's the pack racing and the group group pitting that you're talking about there. It's who goes first and then who follows. So like I said, if Gowan and Bailey go, I can probably guess that the 42 and the 28 are probably going to go at the same time because they're not going to let those guys get that 2.5 second advantage on fresh tires.
No, not at all. And the team, too. You got to think how close your teams are. Obviously, you said it, the 24 and 88. Those guys are really close. They find themselves pitting together. They could possibly pick up one more like that 10 or 42. And like you said, leave that guy out to dry. But if you do leave him out to dry, then if you start battling, he has more time to catch you guys. And then it just completely defeats the purpose. So I don't know how these guys are going to battle. They got to play it smart, got to sort of know when they're going to come down pit road. We are almost to that halfway point as we are at lap 31. And at what point do you see these guys coming down? Because I would guess at this point they're within their window, right? As I say that, I believe some are coming down.
It is close to being within their window, but I feel like until the 88 and the 24 make a decision on whether or not they want to short pit O'Brien or if they're just going to pit when he does. Like I said, if they decide to go and pit before he does, they're able to work together as teammates, and it also will probably drag more down with them, which then gives them a bigger group of drafting partners to go. But if they can communicate that to other drivers and they can run not side by side in single file, they can really make a big advantage on those 2.5 seconds on tires. And, that puts the 71 basically by himself to pit the next lap and then hope that he either comes out right around where the 88 and 24 are coming through the front stretch and he can get up to speed and get in line with them, because if he doesn't, I don't know if he can catch him. Even on the new tires, 1 lap fresher tires isn't going to be that much of an advantage for him. So I really think the team aspect is going to be the thing that really helps, especially these front drivers.
Yeah, and as we're seeing here, the 88 and 71 are starting to battle more and more. These guys are getting closer and closer. That's allowing the 24, 10 and 42 to close that gap. Now you're seeing it. They're starting to become a 5-car pack. Guys are going to start getting aggressive. And at what point do tires become too much to where you're sliding up, almost grabbing the wall? And it's all about, as I say that, here you go, 71, 88, and 10 are all going to find themselves down pit road.
The 24 did not go.
And 24 going to stay out. They're going to become your leaders. But that 88, 71 race down pit road right now, trying to see who can get it.
Yeah, I see the 72, the 9, the 29, the 23, and the 28 also came. I see the 24, 42, 25, 00 all stayed out on track. So I don't know. I don't know what that strategy is for Bailey. I mean, we know him as the guy that hard charges, doesn't worry about tires, doesn't worry about fuel really, just goes until, that thing's flashing red at him to pit. He doesn't really use strategy the same as Gowan does. But now we see him pitting, and that's Is that one lap after, or is that two?
That is one lap after. So now
So that brings the 10
Mr.
with him.
Luis. Yeah, Luis is going to find himself 2 down now. So how far can you sort of stretch that gap until it's too much? Because like you said, 2 seconds? That's
Bane
a
stayed out
huge
too.
difference. It's interesting. Seeing sort of guys staying out, some guys taking their risk. Who do you think it's going to work out for in the long run?
I mean, in the end, the 42 and the 28 or 25 have nothing to lose. They're not in points contention. So really, they can throw strategy out the window and just go for the win. So you can either hope for a caution right now with guys coming in and out of pits and being on fresh tires, or you can, run a couple more laps and hope that those fresher tires help you and that you can come out in a grouping. But I mean,
Ooh, Jordan spinning on pit road.
oh no. Oh, he spun it completely with no fast repair either. He's got some major damage on the hood and rear. But
Yeah,
that's going
tried
to hurt the
locking it
42
up.
for a partner to come out of pits because they came down at the same time.
Yeah, and it just seems like he locked it up too much, which typically we don't see. But you said this is a tough track to sort of find themselves on pit road.
42's in pits.
So
Lefts
unfortunate.
lefts are going up now.
Rights are up now. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah,
24's
lefts.
24's coming through the front stretch with the 88. 42's coming out. I don't think he gets up to speed and gets in with this group. Not even close. They're going to blow past him right now.
Yep, 88 and Nicholas Gowan now going to make him his way around alongside that 71, Matt O'Brien, and that 24, Tristan Bailey. 3-car breakaway is what it's looking to be right here. As
The thing is, though, they are 4-lap fresher tires. Or Zader is going to have 4-lap fresher tires than these guys. Or no, 2-lap fresher tires than Gowan, 1-lap fresher tires than Bailey. And he has fallen behind him by... Well, it's got to reset, but it's going to be multiples. Ooh, caution just came out. That's going to save a lot of people, especially Jordan. He's going to be able to come down and get some... Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot that actually went a lap down and stayed a lap down. Only a few. Christopher Fathke, and that's about the only one I see.
There you go. So, guys, oh, yeah, that's right. Cycle was through Rose and...
Yeah, Rose and Bane were the last two, so...
Yeah.
And they were already coming out of pits whenever this happened, so they weren't a lap down.
It could save those two, though.
That's what I'm saying.
It packs them up, yeah.
Yeah, it packs them back in, and Zader has 1-lap fresher tires than Bailey, 2-lap fresher tires than Gowan, and he's starting in... He's going to be 8th. Now, Bane is going to have some major damage to repair still. I don't know if he's going to get it repaired enough to where it's going to be as fast as it was. He's still got some hood damage, but he's still going to be able to go on and be able to get the rest of that damage fixed. I mean, no fast repair is really going to hurt him, but
they are all coming down pit road is what it's looking like after they just got
6
done
sets of
pitting.
tires.
Yeah, you got a point on that one. That's for sure. 4 laps, 5 laps, 20 laps doesn't make a difference. They're going to come down. But correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is the first caution we have had in almost 3 races on your stream.
I'm pretty sure we didn't have one last time. It might be. This might be the first caution in 3 races. And I don't even know what brought it out. I couldn't see it.
That is actually a good question.
I never saw anybody spinning on track, so I don't know what it was called for. I'm going to try to bounce it back and see if I can find a previous... Oh, there it is, 82.
Debbie Hudgens.
Oh, and the 29 got loose and went right into the pits.
Ooh.
But the 82 was loose going through, looks like 3 and 4. And it got loose on her. She tried to correct it and just whipped it right into the outside wall. And that's what brought out the caution. So Bane and Zader are definitely going to have to thank her for bringing out the caution, even though I'm sure that is not what she wanted to have happen. But it's definitely going to save Bane and Zader for sure.
Yeah, that 42 is actually going to stay out. I believe the 28...
He was only on 1-lap old tires.
25?
So
yeah.
Now he's on 3-lap old tires compared to everybody else being on 1-lap old tires. So I don't think 2 laps is really going to do a whole lot.
No, and I think if Bane wouldn't have spun it, you would have saw him right there
with
Luis. But And man, those things are tough, especially when it happens to you, knowing that you have a great race rolling.
Bane's car still has a bunch of damage on it, but I'm sure he's gotten the required and optional repairs done. So he's got it fixed as he can without a fast repair, but I don't know if he's got a car with that much damage. I mean, the hood's still bowed up on the front. You can see right into the engine bay. The back half of the car is all crinkled up. So I think he's going to be fighting for a top 10. But that still leaves Zader out there, and now he's going to be your leader.
Yeah, and he's going to find himself side by side with the 24 of Tristan. I believe lights are off the pace car. Yes, they are. So we are going green this time by old tires.
So
inside,
Gowan got a
new
black
tires
flag.
outside. No, I believe Gowan may have been one down because Gowan was hanging behind the 42, may have tried to receive a wave around. But since the 42 stayed
I'm
out,
seeing him back there in the 10th. So that actually helps as well. Zader staying out. That locks Gowan back there, so he had to take the wave around. Well, no, because if he stayed out, he wouldn't have got the wave around.
Yeah. So since he didn't,
all the lead lap cars didn't pit,
Louis
so
stayed out. Yeah, I think that sort of pushed him out.
Well, he's on the lead lap in 10th, so
That's weird.
I think Fatsky got the lucky dog because he's 19th and he's not a lap down anymore, so I'm thinking he got the lucky dog on that one. But the pace car is going to drop off, and we are going to go green with Luis Zader on the inside line in that McDonald's 42 and Tristan Bailey in that TJ's Team Foundation marked 88, but it is the 24. And Zader's going to get a tremendous jump going to the green flag.
Yeah, he's got control over both lines heading through 1 and 2. He's already got somewhat of a good gap. I would say about 0.2 of a second. You see 53 looking just a little bit loose. Was able to keep it rolling, though. I could be wrong. Caution is out. Cautions breed cautions. Second caution of the race from the back 97? Of the pack.
I see the 97 really slow.
Looks to possibly be. Looks like 21.9 may have gone, no?
No, 97 got loose, came down right in front of the 5, touched the 5 on the right front, and it turned to 5 down onto the apron, which brought out the caution.
Ah, so unfortunate. You hate to see something like that, especially this far into a race.
Yeah, but I mean, that still, it's going to help Zader because he's only got 2 lap older tires than everybody else. And the more they go on caution, it's going to help him last longer with 25 laps to go. Does everybody come down and get tires again? They got six sets. They've only used 2. And, I mean, you can't take them home with you. So, do you come down and get another set? 4 to 6 laps on your tires?
Man, those are always, that's a tough question.
I didn't think they were all going to come down last time, and they did. So now I'm starting to wonder if a caution comes out, they come down.
I would say come down. They're going to go opposite. They're going to stay out, which is sort of, it's understandable. I see probably 15th on back go down.
I was going to say almost everybody bailed. So the 42 stayed out. The 88 stayed out. And let me look at pit road real quick. I only see 3 down pit road. It looks like there's a giant gap for some reason. Oh, no, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 coming down pit road now.
So possibly some guys may have been, some of the guys collected in the incident.
No, only the 97 and the 5 would have had damage from that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The 95 got loose and just turned right in front of the 5, and it turned the 5 down onto the apron as the 97 spun half on track, half on the apron.
Interesting. I was looking back to sort of see where the 71's at. He's all the way back in 11th place. So a guy that was contending up for the lead has found himself outside the top 10 right now. Could that sort of provide an advantage to him with all these cautions too? Could that provide an advantage to the 25, or do you think it's still going to come down to the 42, 24, and 88?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Some of the guys look like they I don't know how some of these guys got locked in the back like this. O'Brien was up front, but he pit first. Those guys that pitted first are in the middle of the pack, which is kind of confusing to me. So I'm not sure how they got locked in the middle, and they pitted first. They should have been past Bain and Zader when that first caution came out. So I would have thought that they would have been up front, but they are locked in the middle of the field. So I guess we'll see the 71 try to come through the field of O'Brien in that Toyota DeWalt. He has led a lot of laps tonight. He's been up front, right along with Gowan, Bailey, Zader, Pressey, Bingaman. They've all been up front. So a few of those guys now are, O'Brien's 11th, Chafe's 12th, Bain's back to 14th. The 5 is back to 15th. And then through the middle of the top 10 is where everybody else is at. Louise, Zader, and Bailey are the only two that were up front that are currently still up front. Bingaman's back in 5th, O'Leary's 6th, Gowan 7th, Mosley's 8th, Rincone's 9th. The 10 of Robert Reynolds is 10th. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Haynes came out of nowhere, and now he's in 3rd.
Yeah.
Same with Pressey.
Yeah, I was about to say, names that we haven't seen much. Even the 9 of PJ. Those guys are still in front of that 88, 20, 28. I even forgot 28 was even near that front, but he was running up there in the 10, finding themselves. So
but they didn't pit.
That's sort of make a mistake then.
I don't know. They didn't pit though, because they're all in the same sets. The freshest tires are back in 14th with Jordan and Kramer, Hale, King, Harrell, and Fathke with 2 lap-old tires. So we're going green. We'll see what happens here. Louise Zader gets a great jump again. Bailey on the outside. Zader is able to slide up in front of him going into turn 1 to get that angle to go down to the bottom line. 53 is hanging tough, though, next to the 24, Bailey.
Yeah, Louise now being able to control the lanes once again. 53, 24 going to continue side by side with the 72, 94 making up that 3rd row. 53 going to come down. Ooh, 94 gave him a break there. Could have drove right through him, but decided to let up. 24 just now out in front trying to get that 42. He's broken away from the 53, 94, 72, and 9. Now he's looking to get Mr. 42, Louise Zader.
Yeah, the 72 is really fighting hard underneath the 94 and the 9. They're 3 wide coming through the front stretch. You got the 72 down on the apron, the 94 right in the center, and the 9 up against the wall. So the 9's carrying the momentum, and that's what's pulling the 94 and the 9 around the 72 now as the 94 goes down to that bottom line to try to block the 72 from taking that inside line.
High-side momentum is important when you come to a track like this. As you're seeing, the 24 Tristan not able to gain as much speed as the 42 of Luis, but they are going to find themselves going side by side. 24 Tristan Bailey going to clear him. Check up, new leader is the 24 Tristan Bailey. 42 of Luis already looking for some revenge, but don't count out that 94 Nicholas Pressey slowly finding his way through second, trying to attempt to get his way around second, should I say, and having his eyes set on that first place position.
Speaking of not giving up on anybody, look at Gowan in this front pack. He's right there, and the 71 of O'Brien is latched onto the back of this pack with that next group of cars. So he's currently in 10th, but they're not out of this either. We still have 20 to go at Autoclub.
Yeah, now they're finding themselves 3 wide with the 88, 72, and 9. 88 trying to create some sort of momentum on that bottom lane. Obviously, it's good when it starts on the fresh tires. Once you get a little bit later in the run, I think mid to high lane is where you want to be. But I don't think these guys are sort of worried about burning up their tires, considering they only got to run 20 laps with it. But that 53 of Jamie Haynes trying to block all over the track, refusing to let him by, while the 94 and 42 trying to break off. But that 24 is just checked out of the race. He is gone.
Yeah, the 24 is going to pull distance, and that's what I was saying about him going as hard as he normally does. I don't know if that's a good idea. With 20 laps or 19 laps to go now, does he go out there and burn his stuff off, and the 42 and the 94 and everybody else that's sitting here, have they been saving tire at all? And does that help them close back in on Bailey before this race is over? when his tires are burned off. But for some reason, Bailey's tires never seem to fall off that bad, even when he's driving this hard. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm still looking at Zader, the 94, the 88, the 9. All of these guys are still in contention. I don't see him completely set for the 24 yet. That 71 is still lurking right behind this front group, so I wouldn't count him out. Bane's still, attached to this front group as well. There's a lot of different drivers that could take this. I wouldn't say anything about Bailey, having this lead with 18 to go that it's set in stone.
And I think another thing that can hurt him is possibly a late race caution. If a late race caution does come out, at that point, yes, you're going to take tires, but there could always be a few stragglers that try to pick up position over speed. If they do save their tires, like maybe the 42, 94, 88, or the 53, could they be saving their tires expecting a late race caution and then deciding the charge at that point, leaving that 24 to have to get fresh tires while everybody else receives old tires?
It's going to be tough for the rest of the guys behind Bailey to say, you know what, Bailey's fast, I'm not pitting. It has to be a good amount of cars to stay out. If Bailey pits and only the next 4 cars stay out and then the rest of the field pits, Bailey's going to be the first off of pit road. He's going to be lined up 5th, and there's no way these guys are going to contend with him with fresh tires and them being on about 15 to 20 lap old tires if that's the case.
Yeah, and I think more and more I think about it, you got to be smart. At this point, it's all strategy. If something does happen, what do I do? If I get collected in something, what do I do? At this point, you're thinking a mentality of what if. What if the leader blows his tire? What if the leader, for some reason, spins out? What if this, that? And that's sort of something I expect to see running through someone's brain as they're racing is what if. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, especially if you're running for points or if you're someone like the 42 of Luis, like the 25 of Jordan, looking for just a win. What do I need to do to grab it? And right now, this 42 is in perfect contention to fight for the win. It's just seeming like that 24 is not willing to back off, but that 42 trying to create some sort of gap between that 94 and 88.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. We've seen Bailey out front at a few different tracks, and it was only 2 weeks ago that he got loose coming off of turn 2 in the later half of the race, and then I guess had something come up and he wound up having to leave the race. This track is tricky. The longer you go, the tires get slicker. You got to be a little bit more lenient on that gas pedal. That's why the times fall off so much. Is the tires, they wear off. The fuel gets lighter in the car. You get more. The rear end becomes more loose as you go through the corner. So you really got to baby that throttle. That's where you get that 2-second fall off. Right now they're at about a second to a little bit under a second fall off as of right now, and that's on 16 lap old tires with 13 to go.
Yeah, and that's sort of the piece that it comes down to is tire fall. You see 88, 94, they are now going to battle between each other looking for that third place position. 94, 88. 88's on the quarter panel trying to outrun that 94, but top lane still the dominant lane as of now. But at what point do you sort of switch up your driving lane saying, hey, this 24 is still driving away. I got to do something at this point, right? And I don't know. At this point, I think that 24, if a caution does not fall, could potentially be your winner. But at the same point, we've seen drivers fall up and almost slap the wall because of how hard they find themselves running.
Yeah, I'm starting to look through the field, and I'm seeing that O'Brien has not made any ground. If anything, he's lost a position. He's back in 11th now. Chaff got past him. He's in 10th. Bain has stayed in 14th from when they restarted, even on those fresh tires. Jose Ruiz, your points leader, is stuck back in 13th. Hasn't been that big of a player tonight, but he's still steady right there around. He's floating right around the top 10. to get those points, but he's got to have a couple more positions to stay in a big enough lead, because if Bailey or Gowan keeps finishing the top three and winning these races and getting those bonus points and he's not getting any, they could catch him by the end of the season. There's only, I think, 6 races left in the season, and that's a lot of points to give up if you're outside the top 10 and the guys who are coming through the point standings are finishing first, second, third, anywhere in there, and getting bonus points for leading a lap, and getting a bonus point for a pole, and getting the 3 bonus points for winning.
Yeah, actually, after our off week and not counting tonight, we should only have 5 races left in the season. So crunch time starting to kick in. All that 23 has to be is consistent. There's no playoffs. It's just straight up old style points. End of the season, whoever has the most points, that's your champion. He is crowned your champion. And at the end of the day, that's all you got to be if you are the 23. But if you're a guy like the 24, 88, or even the 71, you're thinking wins, wins, wins. I need them, need to be up there, need the fight, need the win. And that's exactly what this 24 is trying to do, especially after, I believe, missing half the season, if not a little less, finding himself now a contender, constantly finding himself top 5, top 3s, top 2s, even first place. But it's just the more and more as you go on the season, got to play smart, got to be that top dog.
Yeah, I think Bailey, as long as he can stay out to his lead, he's got about a half-second lead over Zader. I think this is getting to the point where I can say it's his race to lose. If a caution comes out, it's going to be tough for everybody else to stay out. Everybody's probably going to pit. Everybody's probably going to stay out besides the guys, 10th on back will probably pit because there's only 18 guys on the lead lap, so you're not losing that much, but you'll have fresh tires compared to the 20-lap old tires compared to everybody else as of right now. So I really think it's if they stack back up, I can see Zader being on the outside and trying to carry the momentum, but Bailey's so consistent with hitting his marks that I don't know if anybody can get to him. But, I called it at the beginning of the race. Having Zader in this race was going to be a huge deal. Normally, it's Bailey 1, Gowan 2, or Gowan 1, Bailey 2, and Zader's in between them. So it's going to be tough.
And I wouldn't count out the 42 just yet. Last time by, yes, it's a little bit closer this time by, but he was almost 1/10 faster than Tristan. So at some point in this track, Luis is catching him. I just don't know where just yet. But that 24 is starting to fall off just a bit to where that 42 has a shot, as they just had a 2/10 fall off. Tires starting to come into effect also, who could possibly find themselves sliding up into that wall because they pushed their car too hard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting tough here. I really think we can probably notch this one for Bailey unless a caution comes out. That's the only thing that can screw this up for Bailey, because I don't see Zader making up time. If anything, he's losing time. He's back now to 7/10, and he was a half second about 2 laps ago.
Yeah, almost getting in the wall there. The 88 of Nicholas could capitalize on this situation, though, with this 42 falling off. But top 3, they look fairly sealed. The next guy behind him is the 10 of Robert Reynolds. And I would say he's about half a corner. Well, not even half a corner, maybe 5/10 to a second behind the 88. So at this point, top 3 sort of locked up where they are. Now the battle's on for the position of the top 5, top 10. You see 972 and 00 attempting to battle to each other for that 7th place position. But could this also present a situation of possibly a late race caution?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to bring out a caution. These guys are stuck together, but they're all pretty much single file. There's only a couple guys that are battling for positions. And late in the race like this, I don't see anybody really, pushing that hard from what I can see on track. It looks like everybody's kind of just settling in for the last 5 laps. As those broadcasters looking for entertainment, it'd be nice to see a caution come out and then get restacked for a green-white checker. But we don't want to put that on the drivers. Everybody's run clean. They've only had 2 cautions. One of them was not that bad. One car that got loose and spun across the track. And then another one was another car that got loose and spun across the nose of another driver. So really just a couple simple mistakes here and there that brought out cautions, but other than that, straight clean racing, no big incidents or anything like that.
And battle's starting to heat up here a little bit in the back as top three sort of breaking away. 72, 9, and what looks to be the 53 of Jamie Haynes. The 72 and 53 were just side by side. 73 now starting to fall off. The 9 of PJ going to be able to claim a position. 00 of Matthew Chafe going to attempt to claim another position. Not going to be able to, but they are finding themselves side by side. 9:53 trying to go side by side now. Not going to be enough. 72. He is stuck on that inside lane. It is not helping him out with that 71 of Matt O'Brien right behind him.
Yeah, we got 3 to go with the 24 leading. Zader second, Gowan third, Robert Reynolds fourth, Pressey's fifth, Haynes sixth, O'Leary seventh, Chafe eighth, Bingham ninth. O'Brien has moved up into 10th.
Yeah, and what a race. I mean, this 24 has had. Finding himself spinning early, turn around, found himself 15th, drove his way back up through the pack, got a timely caution, didn't put anybody laps down, didn't sort of mess up the situation, got through all green flag pit stops, was able to capitalize on it. And I think more than I'm thinking of this, and the more I think, this 24 did pit a little bit later than the 42 because the 42 didn't come down at the caution. Could that have been a sort of
Bailey's on 27 lap old tires, Zader's on 29, and the rest of the top 12 is on 27 lap old tires. So Zader's the only one up there with 2 lap older tires, but he's holding off Gowan. Gowan's not making any ground. They're separated by a second. Bailey and Zader are separated by a second. So those 2 lap old tires I don't think are making up that much of a difference. I just think it's the experience of Bailey and all the track racing that he's done on iRacing, and Zader's still, he's CGM Rose. I'm not going to say he doesn't have the skill because the dude came in his first race on iRacing, and I think he podiumed in a league race. So the dude has skill all around. But we have 1 lap to go as Bailey comes off of turn 1 and 2, going down the backstretch with Zader and Gowan trailing him by 1 second each. It's over. I don't see anything happening. This is straight for Bailey. Bailey has pretty much been at the front. He got loose in the first couple laps and slid all the way to 15th, then came right back through the field and has now taken off of turn 3 and 4, is going to take the victory in PSES Xfinity at Autoclub.
Man, what a race. Obviously, it got strained out just a bit, but at some points it creates good racing, especially when they're all in huge packs. But huge congrats to this 24. Huge recovery for him, able to take the win. MTC gonna look happy with that one. How about that is all I gotta say. How about that?
Well, we're going to try to get all 3 top 3 finishers into the podium and get some post-race information from them and see how they felt about the race. Bailey's going to come down the front stretch to do his burnout. We'll see if the 88 of Gowan joins him as he normally does to do a burnout as a team member. The rest of the field, let's see. Bailey first, Zader second, Gowan third, Reynolds fourth, Pressey fifth, Chafe sixth, Haynes seventh, O'Leary eighth, Bingham ninth, O'Brien comes home 10th, Ruiz, your points leader, falls just outside the top 10 to 11th, Jordan Bain makes it back to 12th, Mosley 13th, Harrell 14th, Kramer 15th, Jorge Roncon 16th, Douglas King in the 17th position. Christopher Fathke, your admin for the Xfinity Series, is 18th. Joshua Hales is 19th. Maurice Burnett comes home 20th. Randy Busquet in that 29 Boston Red Sox car comes home 21st. Adam Rowe 22nd. And Debbie Hutchins, your other co-admin for this series, comes home 23rd tonight. All right, we are waiting to see if Luis Zader is going to join us here in the booth. I've got Gowan and Bailey in here.
Might have to add him.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Zader.
He went in the Discord. He was in some other Discord at the moment.
Uh,
Go over to race chat.
all right, can one of you guys hit the push to talk to let him know?
He left already.
Oh.
I can
Wow.
add him in the Discord real quick. Oh, dumb. It's L. That's what it is.
All right, give us just a second here. We're going to try to find the second placement, see if we can get him in here.
Yep, he is in here.
Is he in here? All right.
Yep.
Cool. So I will take third place, and then if you, well, actually, you know what? You go ahead and take third.
Well, Nicholas, finding yourself just a little bit short, but being able to walk away with the top three, man, how did it feel all race? Obviously, we're talking about grip. Was it grippy, loose, tight? Of course, it's tight or loose, man. I'm losing my words over here.
All of the above, honestly. Like beginning of the runs, you had to be really careful on the bottom because with those cold tires, it was just wicked loose. I mean, coming off the corners like half throttle just to kind of keep it straight. And then late in the run, it would just push, especially 1 and 2. It just didn't want to turn in the corner. So I mean, loose and tight all the way around.
And obviously, with the late race caution, sort of walking into that, do you think, oh, yeah, it's more than enough time. I can catch the 24? Do you think I just got to make my way through the pack first?
I mean, I was gonna have to make my way through the pack. I mean, I unfortunately right before that caution happened, I did tap the wall and get some damage, and then that set me back. And uh, just dirty air is also key. I mean, it really helps being up front. So track position really helped. But man, if I didn't get the damage fixed, I was gonna be fighting a tight race car the rest of the race. So it was a lose lose on either way. But I mean, but there in that last run, I just pushed a little too hard and burned up my stuff by the time. And I think the 96 made it a little difficult to get around them too. So, I mean, who wouldn't? But by the time it was like we got kind of like single file and stretched out a little bit, it was just my tires were already gone.
There you go, man. And congrats on your P3. Before we let you go, you got anybody you want to thank?
Thank you guys for doing the broadcast each and every week. I mean, I know we had last week off, but like going back and watching the broadcasts, you guys do a pretty good job. And um, uh, yeah, and just that's kind of it, I guess. Thank you. Thanks to Tristan being in the Discord call with me the entire race, and it was nice to have someone in there with me just talking about stuff. So that's it. And
Oh,
congrats, Tristan, for the win.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Nicholas Gowan coming in P number 3 tonight.
All right, and second place tonight is I never want to say your name because I always go back to watching you constantly win and be the guy, the guy to watch on console side that I enjoyed watching in NNR, the Pro League, watching all the stuff you do on there, and now you're over here. So Luis Zader, everybody, or in my eyes still, even when I see the name, CGM Rose. You have jumped into PSES Xfinity. I called you out before the race thinking that you and Bane joining this race was going to be a tough matchup for Bailey and Gowan. You come home second tonight. What could you have done any different? And how much of a huge change, just for people out there who, like myself, have watched you for so long on console side, how much of a big change is it being over here on iRacing?
So to take your first question, to get Tristan, I just need to learn more about iRacing and how the tire model works and just how I'm supposed to drive the tracks because I'm still on the edge of how much I have to push on the start of the runs to be able to be fast on the long runs. So I just need to keep learning on that, and I think that's what holding me back still. But yeah, it's way different. On iRacing, you definitely have to take care of your stuff more. Um, you're not always pushing for fast laps every single lap. You got to take your time. You got to be easy. Sliding the tires here and there, like a couple times, definitely hurts you on the long run. So that's an adjustment I definitely have to make.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, coming from console to go straight to iRacing, it is a huge jump. But I saw you come over in the NNR iRacing side. I think you podiumed in your first league race over there in the trucks. So that pretty much told me that I was screwed. So um, everybody else watching you over there was saying the same thing. So seeing you jump in PSES, are you going to be a full-time runner now?
Um, Probably not. I was off today and didn't have really much to do, so I just want to see if there was any league races since I haven't been doing any league racing on iRacing, so I was like, let me see if I can hop in something. And luckily, the guys over here in PSES just let me hop in, and
So,
I was able to run.
so you're making it worse, I think, because you're saying you went cold for however long, not running league races, and then just said for shits and giggles, I got nothing to do tonight. Let's jump into an iRacing race, and you come home second at Autoclub with guys that I mean Tristan and Gowan and a few others in this series have been extremely dominant, especially the other two on the podium with you. It's like every other week, one of them is winning and the other one's finishing second, or the other one's finishing first, and the other one's finishing third. And here we are again. Tristan wins first, and Gowan's third. So. I mean, I'd love to see you come out here and race with these guys, make it a little more entertaining, and put some maybe a little bit of fear, not fear, because I don't know if anybody's afraid of anybody, but just to be out here racing against these guys, and then Jordan, I mean I love watching Jordan race, always have. So you guys coming out here tonight, I was really thinking you guys were going to be the ones to really contend with these two, and you guys were. I mean, you were up front pretty much from the get go. Bailey got loose coming off of turn two early in the race and fell back to 15th. Did you think at that point maybe Bailey was going to be out of the race, or were you really thinking, or not even thinking about him, like, let me just run my race?
I mean, when I saw him spin out, I thought his tires were maybe shot, but I mean, I didn't think he was out of it. Anything can happen. So, and then he came back in that first run and was up there in the top three very quickly. So it just showed his pace from the very get go, and a very deserved win today.
All right. Well, I definitely hope to see you at some point throughout the rest of the season. We got Richmond next, then Daytona, Las Vegas, Kansas, then Phoenix to end out the season. You could be a contender to maybe slow these two in this podium with you from catching. I believe it's Jose Ruiz that's in the front and first place in the points. So
Haynes.
is it Haynes? Okay, so it's Haynes that's in first. Ruiz must be right up there with him though. So if you're going to be in here, I think that it might throw a wrench into these guys catching them because as consistently as they are in the top three, it's scary to think how fast they might catch those guys. But congrats on second place. Um, like I said, definitely enjoy watching and definitely have been a fan of yours for multiple years on the console side. So very happy to see you in the field tonight and hopefully see you again. Any other
Thank you.
shout outs for you?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for being up here in the booth, and all the guys that let me race, and all the guys for having a clean race.
Definitely. Well, so you get the winner, the 80, or let's rephrase that, the 24 of Tristan Bailey, as the 88 is still on the door of your car, Tristan.
There you go. So it's a win for both. You got Nicholas Gowan and Tristan. No, I'm just messing. Tristan able to walk away P1. Obviously, after a little slip up at Kentucky, I believe was the last stream we had. Unfortunately, found yourself off the track, had to call it quits for the night. But then you come back at a track like Auto Club and just after the halfway point, just dominated the rest of the race. Walk us through it, man.
I don't know. Somehow, even though I hate this track a lot, somehow when I first ran, the first official here, even on the old tire model, I figured out how to run it, how to save the right front, and that just is key here at Auto Club. Even it's so weird seeing how much you need to save the tires on iRacing compared, like he said, like Louise was saying. Not yeah, Lewis, not Louise. Sorry, Lewis was saying. There's so much difference how you gotta save your tires here compared to like heat, and you just gotta save them. I'm really surprised my tires weren't done after I slid it out of two in the first lap of the race. I was really surprised I was still able to make all the passes, but I wasn't catching Goen or I think it was Matt O'Brien, I think his name is, that well at first, but then like right before we come on the pit stop, I started gaining on him a little bit more, and then I was kind of hoping it would have stayed green because they both tagged the wall under the green, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be real interesting here, and but then the cost came out, but it ended up making a good race at the end here with Zader, so I had fun tonight.
And there's something I want to touch on was this race was only 65 laps. Typically, we see it close to 100, maybe 120. With this only being 65 laps, walking into it, did your strategy sort of stay the same through the start of the race, or did it slowly mix up later and later before you just hit pit stops?
Mm, nah, I still had it determined on what I wanted to do, and that's what I was doing. And honestly, yeah, I was kind of surprised to see it that short. I'm used to, like I said, used to running like 100, 110 here, so I don't know. It's like a short sprint race, I guess you can call it. But it was fun though. It made people actually have to, try to drive it quick because there wasn't as many laps as we usually have. So I guess it made for better racing. I guess you could say.
Well, there you go. Better racing, a better race car. 24. Tristan Bailey able to get it done tonight. You got anybody you like thank before we let you go?
Of course, YouTube for broadcasting every week, and for going for sitting in the chat, considering nobody else sits in there. So it's good to have somebody else in there. And of course, what's it called? More Than Cape Foundation. Gotta thank him, and also for this paint tonight from Michael Kinsley. And no, I don't change the 80 off the side just so I can aggravate you two.
Well, there you go, man. The 24 Tristan Bailey able to get it done at Autoclub.
Well, that wraps it up tonight for Autoclub at PSES. I am actually going to be wrapping it up for the next 2 weeks, as there will be another broadcaster in here, I believe. I don't know who. I think it's Rick James that replaces on Friday nights for at least the next 2 weeks, as next week is my wedding and then my honeymoon, so I will not be here. I will be enjoying that. So good luck to you guys. That will be Richmond, which should be a fun race to watch. And then Daytona, the big one for super speedways, and anything goes there normally. So definitely look forward to coming back on November 5th for Las Vegas at night to see what's transpired over the last 2 weeks that I'll be missing. So definitely good luck to everybody. Hopefully somebody else can get up here and maybe contend with you two, because I think almost every week that we have broadcasted since Talladega, you guys have been in the top three, I believe, in every single race, except for the race that I believe Tristan had to back out halfway through. I think that was Darlington. So
Okay.
Darlington.
Was it?
It was Darlington.
Darlington.
Then, I didn't I didn't do so good at the Glen because I'm not that great at road courses.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Glen. Well, I didn't broadcast that one, so that was
No
also Rick
broadcast,
James.
No problem, right?
Yeah. So every race that I've broadcasted with you, it's almost every single time you guys have been in the front three. Besides the race you had to back out for Darlington, but definitely looking forward to coming back for Las Vegas and finishing out the season with Las Vegas, Kansas, and then Phoenix will be the championship race, and we'll see if these two can keep knocking off wins and knocking off podiums and catch Jamie Haynes and Jose Ruiz up there in the front. And appreciate everybody out there in the chat. Appreciate all the guys out there voting. We did some asking of who everybody was rooting for. There was a bunch of people rooting for Jose Ruiz, a couple people out there for Bailey, a couple people out there for Gowen, a couple people out there for some other drivers in the field. So appreciate everybody out there dropping comments, and Q-Dog for dropping a few bits there. Definitely appreciate that. And see you guys in 3 weeks. So I will run the commercial for PSES Xfinity, and then I will shut it down for the night.